Okay, welcome to the dynamic data dispenser tutorial, which explains how to set this thing up so that you can share students' test marks and other data online, but only viewable by that specific student who has to be logged into their Google account to view the data. So for example, I've got my student data here, and if student 3 were to view the page, they would only see their marks 13 and 28, and they wouldn't see anyone else's marks. And if a person tried to view the page that was not one of these students, they'd see nothing. So the first thing you need to do is go to this URL, and this is my my code here, and you need to make a copy of this. So click make a copy, and it will copy it to your Google Drive, and that will allow it to see your spreadsheets. Once you've done that, go to publish here and deploy as web app. And you haven't published it yet, so there shouldn't be any versions or anything. It should say you're publishing a new version. So it says project version new. You don't have to say anything in here. You need to choose execute as me, because you need to allow the script access to your files. But the people who have access, you can choose. I'd probably only choose the students who are at the school, but no one else will be able to get to it anyway. But just to be on the safe side, I'd probably leave that one. And then what I do is I'm going to copy this link here, and I'm going to click update. Now, the first time you do this, you need to click review permissions, and you need to give the script permission to access your spreadsheets. So you're saying, yep, that's fine, you can do that, and click OK. Now, if we paste in that link that we copied earlier, it seems like there's a problem with it, which is fine, because we're going to change the end of the URL there to something else. Okay, so what we need to do is, if you go to the code, you'll see a typical URL listed above. And what it says is that after the exec part of the script, there's a question mark and a whole bunch of other things. So copy that all and then paste it afterwards. So what you should have is something that looks like this. It says /exec question mark and then sheet ID equals something and name equals. Right. So what we need to do is go to our data here, and I need to find out the name of my sheet, which is just called data. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to swap that for where it says sheet name goes here. So I'm just going to type in data just on its own. There are no quotes or anything. And where it says workbook ID, I need to go back to my spreadsheet and go back to the URL. And it's that bit there in the middle between two forward slashes, that's just kind of loads of numbers and letters all packed together. So that's the ID of the spreadsheet. So I go back to my script, paste that into the URL there, and what you should have is something that looks like this. It's /exec question mark sheet ID equals some gibberish and name equals the name of your sheet. If you press enter, then it will tell you something different, but it's still not working. It says that my email address is not found in the database. So what I should do is give it an opportunity to find my email address. Now what it's going to do is it's going to look in this first column here. And what it will do is it will search for the right email address that's logged in, and it will display that row of data. So for example, if I was logged in as student 1, it would show me this row. But what I want to do is I want to test if it's going to work for me. So I'll put my email address here in the second row. So now what it should do is it should go down this column here. As soon as it finds that email that matches the person that's logged in, it will produce this data here. So let's give that a go. I don't need to put my email address anywhere because I'm already logged in to Google. So if I just refresh this page now, it should tell me the data from the spreadsheet here. So what it's doing is it's looking up this row. Now that URL is working, so I can then copy that and put that into a Google site using this embed button here. It says by URL, and that's fine. Just paste the URL in there, press insert, and what you'll see is that your Google site will then have the dynamic data dispenser all good and working. And you can always test it. You can change the row and see if it changes the data that it produces. That's basically it.